Good morning, everybody. It's so glad
And
I'm
good
so happy.
afternoon.
Yes, and good evening, actually. We're almost evening for you, right?
It
Thank you
is.
so much. Thank you so much. I'm here wonderful with Ritchie from Longman Tarot. And I'm telling you, I'm finding all these fabulous people. It is funny that you get into a sort of a niche, and it depends on where you live, I think, too, because of the time zones. But finding Gerald and then finding Ben and you, and, I'm sure I'll find others. And I've talked to Becca before.
Yeah.
And, but it's like, wow, this is a whole other side of YouTube that I've found. And I'm thrilled. So
Oh,
welcome.
thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. So yes, we've just been discussing our other jobs, which are teachers.
Yeah.
And although I'm going to get a medal that I can put on Gerald because he teaches middle school kids math, and that's got to be hard. I'm sorry,
It's
on
not.
Richie, not
That's fine.
Gerald. Yeah, sorry.
Gerald and I sometimes can meld into one sometimes. When we do, so it's fine. It's fine.
Do you have the tiny hands as well, like he does?
No, I can't bear the tiny hand. He knows this. He taunts me with them. But we do a lot of collaboration. So
I
yeah,
know.
it's fun. But yeah, secondary school teenagers teaching
Yes.
mathematics. It's interesting but fun.
Yeah, it's something new every day, I'm sure. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Now, did you teach on Zoom or on some kind of a platform during COVID?
Yes. Yeah, we did, I probably taught for about 6 months on and off during different lockdowns
Oh,
on
okay.
Microsoft Teams. Well,
Uh-huh.
when the first lockdown happened, our school was just introducing Teams. So it was literally, I don't know how anything this works, and I'm going to have to teach a lesson on it. And so
Oh,
we got better at it. We got better at it. But
yeah. Math must be hard. Yeah, math must be,
it was
fairly
very
difficult.
difficult, but the kids coped really well, and we're trying to do our very best now to sort out any holes that they have from that time. So we're going
Oh,
back
good.
and revisiting it all. So yeah.
I'm sorry, my battery's screaming at me. Hold on.
Oh dear. Okay.
One of those days. Okay, I'm all plugged in. I'm okay. So math on that kind of a platform. We had at the college that I teach at, we have a woodworking and forestry program and some of those other kinds of programs and physical education, and I'm wondering how in the hell do you do that on a Zoom call? That's so difficult. Yeah.
Even
Yeah.
the art teachers were
Oh,
teaching art.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't know how you do that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know the kids don't really like it. They don't really like it. But you know what? I'm finding that a lot of people really did like it, and they want to just continue online. They don't want to come into class. And with the gas prices now so high, we may have to go back to Zoom because people can't afford gas. And I know
Really?
it's the same where you are.
It is.
Yeah.
The gas prices have
Yeah.
gone up. In fact, everything in the UK is creeping up. It's going up by a few
Yeah.
pence the gas every day. So
Yeah.
driving is getting more and more expensive, and so transport costs gets put onto the food.
Right.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I know our sacrifice is a lot less than the Ukrainians and others that are in that situation. I'm amazed by the Polish and the Romanians and the Hungarians all bringing in people. They're just fabulous. And so I could pay a little more for gas. It's okay.
Well, you know what? I mean,
Yeah.
it meant that I didn't use my gas for 2 weeks, and it just made
Sure.
things a bit easier for people. That's something I would
Yeah.
happily do just
to help out.
sort the
Yeah.
situation. Yeah.
Certainly. Yeah. That's wonderful. So I was talking with Ritchie before because we had never talked before.
No.
And yes, Gerald caught that I called you Gerald. That's funny. Hi, Tony. And Valerie and Andrea and Nancy. I just want to say hi to everybody. Vivian,
Hello.
Sue.
Hi, Vivian.
Yeah, butterfly kisses and CB. Nice to see you. Nice to see you all.
Here.
Yeah, it's wonderful. So let's see. You told me that you have always played around with tarot before you decided. Right. Yeah. So tell them all what you.
So I kind of came to it when I was at school. I love this. I tell the story quite a lot, but I was lucky that my school had the Alfred Douglas book in their library one day that no one had ever
Wow.
taken out before. And before that, I had a very odd sense of what tarot was, because my parents and the way it was shown on telly, it was all to do with witchcraft and
Right.
devil and all that stuff. So part of me was like, oh, this is interesting, and oh, this is a bit naughty, you know, being a bit rebellious. So I took the book out and read it late at night under the covers so that my folks didn't find out about it. And I fell in love with the stories and the ideas, and it got me interested straight away. And then I had several false starts, because we're talking back in the 80s, there wasn't a great deal of tarot decks out there that you could easily get your hands on if you weren't.
That's right. No, you're absolutely. I remember. Yeah.
So I managed to get my hands on a JJ Swiss. So I was trying to learn the RWS system with a Marseille deck. So it was never going to work. It was just a disaster. But I kept trying and I kept trying, and I bought decks that were more my kind of ideas, so things like the mythic tarot, my Greek myths, and all that. And I took them to university, and that's when I started really doing readings for people, and it took off from there. And there are times I've not picked a tarot card up for years, and then about 3 or 4 years ago, I came back to it. And by this time, you know, not only had the internet been invented, but YouTube and TarotTube was out there. And I thought, oh, this is interesting.
Such a difference. Yeah.
I'd like a piece of this. I'd like to do some of this. And so that's where it all started. And that's where I started my channel up from.
Yeah. Isn't it funny that a lot of people that ended up starting in either the late 70s, the 80s, ended up somehow having that Marseille deck? And I couldn't figure it out. I failed freshman French, and I did better in Spanish, but you know, I'm looking at it and it doesn't make sense to me, you know.
Well, some of the cards were in the wrong order as well, and it was like the images didn't match up, and it was like, oh, wow. Yeah. But the fact is, we kept going, you know,
kept going at it.
It inspired us. It got us interested to continue with it, and that's what it is. And I don't have that deck anymore. In fact, I don't have a JJ Swiss at all. So,
so that might be the cards that you that are, what do they call it? Your unicorn. You got to find them again at some point. Just to
I have many a deck, Ali. I can tell you. I might be able to shoehorn a few more in somehow onto the shelves. But yeah.
I understand. Yeah, and some of them are just. I have a deck that I got at the beginning of the pandemic on Etsy, and it's the coronavirus deck. I have a coronavirus deck.
Wow.
It's a tarot deck. I mean, I have not used it because I'm not big. I wanted to have it, though. I don't know why. I just felt like it was going to be one of those things that somebody would probably pay a lot for later. You know, it might be a good thing to have to sell later, you know.
It's a good, I'm not really using the word keepsake, but it's a reminder of the times, you know.
We lived through it, right? A reminder we lived through it. Yeah, absolutely.
And I mean, the pandemic, because we weren't going away, going on holiday,
right?
I bought decks. That was my, you know,
that was your entertainment.
It was my entertainment, and now I realise it's time to perhaps pull back a bit. So I'm a bit more careful over some of the decks I buy, and I have to think, well, I really want this one, rather than, oh, that looks nice, I might have that, treat myself. So I'm being a bit more cautious these days.
Well, and I like it that you work with the others on the deck, showing different decks, because maybe you could, when you want to look at them, you're not supposed to open them, you know, because of all the rules of, you know, keeping people's hands off. But at least if you can see the cards and see if they resonate, then you can pick the ones and feel more comfortable not wasting your money.
Yeah. I love doing walkthroughs and bits and pieces like that. And people put some really nice comments, and people are really honest about deck walkthroughs. They'll go, no, that's not for me, or, oh, I really like that. And it's interesting. I've got quite a strange taste when it comes to some of the cards. A bit eclectic, I'm going to say.
That's okay. I love that.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
my and a lot of people said, oh, I've never seen this deck before, and want to know more about it. So I
Right.
tend to go for the more unusual decks that I find rather than the more mainstream ones.
That's okay. And I mean, I remember Debbie Freebird Spirit, who does tarot. She had a deck that was the gummy bear deck.
Yeah.
And you know, everybody's doing it, and actually, there is room for those who like the more eclectic decks. So, what would you say your top 2 decks that you really like to use a lot of the time? Can you
wow.
even? I tried to give you 2 and not 1.
That's
but
just an impossible question. If you'd asked
okay,
me,
so tell me a couple of
I've
them.
got some here. Let's have a little
Okay.
look. Okay, the one that I tend to use decks. It depends. If I'm doing a reading for myself, or whether I'm doing a reading for other people, that would be a choice.
Different, yeah.
Season, what the reading may be about, how I'm feeling, those kinds of things, interests, so bits like that.
Sure.
So one of the ones that I bought early, end of last year, which I really like, is the Dream Vision Tarot.
Oh, how beautiful.
It
Wow.
surprised me, this deck, because I always thought I was into black and white decks and quite somber stuff. So this came along, and it's like somebody's taken a rainbow and shoved it in a box. Just look at some of the colors on
Is this James Eads? Is that one of his? Is it?
No, it's
no. Okay.
Look at it. I
can't. He does those. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's very much like the Mystic Mondays kind of style.
Okay. Okay.
But I love this because you not just get
look at that
really pastel-y colors.
Oh yeah.
Have these kind of strange, slightly alien-esque people.
Yep. They are. But you know, that's kind of cool. I can see why you're eclectic. Yeah.
And I've never kind of had a deck like this before. And it knocked me sideways when I
bet it did. Yeah.
And I've been using that quite a lot. So that's one of them that I've been using.
Okay. That's cool.
Yeah. And I've got like traditional ones, like I've got my I've talked about this a lot with people of the Sheridan Douglas. This was a deck that I kind of was familiar with even at the early days. And that's all very colourful and beautiful. Bright primary colors there. So
yeah. And it's the Rider Waite is so Anglo, Victorian, I guess, or maybe early 20th century, that some of these other decks bring in, even though that's an older deck, it doesn't stay with that theme. So I like that. Yeah.
No, I am a Rider Waite Smith reader. I have to. That's
because you're used to that as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to get more used to the idea of doing the Thoth Tarot. But
I've got that somewhere.
The next thing I'm going to be doing, but that's the thing for the summer holidays, because I've got.
Okay. Well, you know, you're always learning and growing when you do that. And
that's what I love about the tarot is that you never stop learning about it, or oracle cards, or whatever. I did a course last year on the Lenormand decks, and I absolutely love Lenormand reading. And
they're beautiful. Yes, I agree.
Like blow my own trumpet, but it came quite natural to me, and that's great. I find it really straightforward to use, which is good.
Absolutely. It's got the symbols on there that you can really attune to. And I also like the Kipper, but I don't see Kipper in many. There's only one that I've found, really.
I've only got one Kipper deck, and it was gifted to me, and I haven't learned it yet. I was too many
pretty straightforward. It's like it's almost you have to be prepared for it. It's like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, an old man sitting in a chair, and then inheritance or something. It's like, okay, you know, it's pretty straightforward.
It's what it is. It's what it says on the packet, isn't it? Literally.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely. Yeah. So you have to be prepared to get that message if that's the message you want to give. Yeah.
But I have recently got more into oracle cards. Now, what do you reckon? Do you reckon there's more oracle cards than tarot cards?
I think at least in the new cards, yes.
Yeah.
The only thing I would say is I think Doreen Virtue really started the oracle card thing, and then of course she went nuts and went back to church and doesn't want anything to do with them anymore. But I think she brought those whole ideas up.
Deck. I don't use it. I have to say it's not my kind of genre. Let's call it that.
I understand.
But I keep it just to remind myself.
Yep.
Things. But I've recently started to incorporate oracle and with tarot as well. So
Right.
I just love the simplicity of an oracle card, as in
Yeah, I do too.
And I tend to do just one card draw rather than doing lots of spreads.
Absolutely. I feel the same way. Yeah. And then I decided, you know how you guys do clarifying a lot on your tarot readings.
Yeah.
So I bought this. It's called the Infinity Oracle.
Oh, lovely.
And this is clarifiers. That's all it is. You know, like new love. You know, it's just got simple words on it like that, or listen to your intuition. So I like if I pull something and I'm not exactly sure if this is going to resonate with the person, I pull one of those sometimes and it brings it in, you know.
Makes perfect sense. And sometimes you just need to do that, don't you? Particularly if you're doing a book, you know, as you leave in the house, or what's the day going to be like? What do I need to know? There it is. You don't want to spend 5 minutes searching the depths of it, do you?
I should have done that the other day because I came around the corner after a light and I had someone on my tail. So I went a little faster and then, you know, the lights came on and fortunately let me go. I pulled into the handicap spot because I have a handicap sticker and I think he just felt bad for me. This old lady doesn't. But I got out of the car because, well, he came and got my stuff and I got out and he went back to, and I didn't have my insurance card. You have to have that in Washington. So I found it and I got out of the car to go bring it to him and he's, get in your car, get in. Oh my God. It scared me to death. He said, we don't know what your intention is.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Very scary.
You should have pulled a card for that day.
I should have, shouldn't I? Yeah. At least he didn't ticket me. He let me go with a warning. So that's kind. Yeah, it was kind. Andrea wants to know where you teach or the area. Okay. She taught in Exeter. Yeah.
Okay, I'm the other side. I'm on the southeast, so near Brighton. If you happen, most people know where Brighton is because it's quite famous, and it's
Brighton Beach. Is that where Brighton Beach is? Brighton Beach.
Yeah, I'm about 40 minutes drive away from that. I'm between. I'm in Eastbourne, but if you drew a line straight down from London to the south coast, that's me there, and it's a beautiful part of the world. So I'm on the coast. I've got the lovely countryside, the South Downs, which are lovely green hills. It's beautiful, very old Victorian kind of seaside town.
That's awesome. When Andrea was in England, in Exeter, she taught at the School for the Deaf there. That's
cool.
Yeah.
That's a great job.
I know. I would have thought so too. Wow. Welcome to those of you who are still here. So I have a question about your name, not Ritchie. Longman. Where's that from?
Okay, so if anyone happens to know the Druid craft, actually I've got a Druid craft deck here. The Two of Wands is a chalk drawing, and just outside the town I live in is this. It's the second biggest landscape figure in the world, apparently. Let me find. I should have got this in order because I thought somebody might ask me. This chalk figure is called the Longman of Wilmington, and it's basically a male outline holding two poles, which is kind of what my logo is, but a bit of a change. Oh, there he is. So I'll show you this. Hopefully you can see that.
Yes.
Glossy.
Oh, that's beautiful. Yes, I can, and I can see the figure. The figure in the grass.
Yeah, so this character, as I say, is cut into the hillside just outside where I live. And when I was finding a name for my channel, I was like, what should I, went through all the tarot different names.
Sure.
And I just remember I came across this card and I thought it's got to be called Longman, after the Longman of Wilmington, because this chalk figure has kind of always been in my life, as in whenever we went for a drive in our family car, we'd drive past this figure on the hillside. And I'd stop and look at him and think, I wonder what the legends and the history is.
Sure, it spoke to you. Yeah.
And he was even on my school badge.
Really?
So my blazer, he was the logo because my school was quite nearby.
Wow.
And so I thought, I'm going to have to call it that. So it's Longman after the Longman of Wilmington.
I
not
love
because
that.
I happen to be very tall. I'm 6'1", but you know.
Okay. All right. Well, you qualify to be a tall man, long man. Yeah. But I love that because it's been following you for your lifetime, really. And so you read the sign, you know what I mean? Yeah.
And there's quite a lot of places round here that's called Longman. So there's a brewery, local one called Longman Brewery. And there's pubs around here, and there's a Morris dancing group called Longman Morris as well. So we're quite into our sort of weird and wonderful ways in this part of the world.
And I'm just dying to get there. When I was talking with Ben, I was telling him that I have ancestors from Wales. My grandfather was a baker on a ship, and so he lived in Rhyl, R-Y-H-L.
Real.
And then they ended up moving over and coming over in the early 20th centuries. And I never knew them because they were all dead before I was born, like 20 years before I was born. But just the legend and the things, and I want to see what they saw. I want to, at least I know it's not going to be exactly the same, but I want to see the areas,
Yeah, I mean, some parts of the country obviously are very developed, but there's huge parts of it that are still very much. I mean, the house I'm living in here is Victorian. It's over 100 years old. So everything's got a slight. You kind of get used to just having history. And
sure.
The part I live nearby is a place called Pevensey. Well, that was used during the Battle of Hastings. So the Normans invaded here. It's even got Bayeux tapestry and everything like that. And there's castles, and so there's loads of it.
Lots of history.
There's lots of it. So I'm lucky. I'm very lucky because I love history as well. So
that's great. I mean, I lived near Boston when I was growing up, and we used to go down there. But of course, that's only a couple of 100 years old. You guys have got 6 AD and all that stuff there with all that.
I traced my family back a few.
That's right. Well, so. My father did it. He got back to 1066. In England, there was one of my ancestors was Sir Hugh or whatever. I don't know, but it was just really cool. It really was. Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah,
you might be related to royalty somewhere along the line then.
Well, it might. I think there was. I think it's maybe like a cousin of somebody. Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Well, my relatives actually went to America and came back again. So, on my father's side, they were. I think about a month or so after the Mayflower, they went in some ships over there to.
Oh, they did.
Around New Hampshire, I think. I've never been to that part of the world.
That's where I grew up. I grew up in New Hampshire. Yeah, it's 40 miles from Boston.
Like CP or somewhere, I don't know. And I did have relatives in around Salem at that time of the witch trials as well. So
I taught at Salem State University, so I'm very familiar with the area, and that's fascinating. There's another gal that's here. Her name is Juno. She's one of my subscribers, and she dates back to Salem as well. So you've got somebody here.
Well, my surname is Osborne, and I know that one of the first women who were taken and died was someone called Sarah. I think Sarah Osborne. So I'd love to think that I'm related. I think I'm just
absolutely, and it might be why you're so interested in this kind of thing. Yeah,
I'm gonna say all my skills come from that.
That's right, and you are welcome to use them now. Unfortunately, she couldn't. Yeah. That's fabulous. Oh yeah. All right. So Dana wonders if she can have a card of your choice for her. I guess. Yeah.
Would you like an oracle or a tarot? That's a question.
Which one would you like, Dana? Yeah. Oh, we got some news from Shield Maiden. The animals from the Kyiv Zoo have been rescued by a good friend of hers in the UK. They are safe and going to Poland.
Fabulous.
Excellent. I'm so glad. Yeah. Let me see if I can find her response. Do you have a response, Dana? She said your choice. So
my choice.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go with my tarot, my Sheridan Douglas, because
Okay.
this is a lovely deck. It's quite small, it's very colourful, and it follows RWS, but not always. So we'll pull a card. I'm just going to shuffle because I did put it in order last night for another live I was doing. So give me a moment while I shuffle it. We can talk if you like. I try not to drop any. So there we go.
Yeah. And I'll pull one too. I have I have is oracles, so I'll
doesn't help when you put shuffle the little white book in with it. You don't really.
That's a little tough to do. I'd like to see that actually, Rich.
Do it for Dana, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Ooh, okay. So I've got the Justice card, which let's show it a bit brighter there. It's a bit glare. It's quite glossy, this card, so hopefully you can see it there. Okay. So I'm just wondering about balance. And now's a really good time to get into balance because we're coming up to Astara and the equinox. So perhaps it's time to have a think about anything that may be throwing you off balance and try to redress balance and try and get a bit of balance back into your life if it's needed. That's often what I think. So I think rather than going justice is about court cases and arguments being one, to me, justice here, I think, is more about taking the energies of the season and just finding some inner balance and nice and calming energies.
Wonderful. Well, I pulled a card from the Oracle of the Seven Energies that says endless possibilities, Dana.
Oh.
I love the stars. I mean, there's a star that looks like it's almost like on the top of the Christmas tree, but above her head is all these other stars, and one on her third eye. And so she's saying there are endless possibilities, but I pulled a clarifier and it does say either you're getting an apology or you need to give an apology to somebody. I'm not sure, but that may have something to do with it. Once you do, the endless possibilities will come to fruition.
Ooh,
good luck with that. Yeah, very nice. Thank you. All right, we have a Juno, who I was just speaking of.
Okay, yeah. I like Juno's picture, the profile.
She makes those. She's made me one of those. She does embroidery, and she sent me a beautiful mandala embroidered. She's very crafty. Yeah.
I've changed my deck up. I'm going for a different deck now, Juno. I'm going for the White Fly Tarot, which is
the White Fly. Okay.
The White Fly Tarot. It's got some very interesting images in there.
Ooh. Okay.
It's a bit unusual, so let's see what we get, shall we? Oh, that's interesting. This card keeps following me around from this deck. I've got the sun.
Oh, so look at that. It's like a little fetus with a
little baby in there on its side, growing there with a little crown on its
I know, that's cute.
It's very, but I love the brightness and the energy again of this card. And it's quite unusual to have the baby like that on the sun card. Normally the baby's shown as a bit older, but on a horse here. So here, you know, as the sun often means, it's everything's going to be great. You've got the joys, you've got good times, there's positive outcomes coming out of it there. So I'm hoping that you are getting some sun where you are, and that, you know, the next few days you're able to enjoy the sunshine that lights up your life.
Isn't that wonderful? She lives in Arizona, so there's the place to be.
That's the place to be. So,
and that almost looked like a mandala.
Yeah, it does actually. Very similar, doesn't it? The colors.
It does. Yeah, I love it. Awesome.
Perfect.
I know it. So Juno, I've never gotten this card. So when that happens, I just go, oh, I've never seen this one. It's called Awakening Genius. Look at this. And look at her head. And she really does look Native American. And that's pretty much what you do, follow that very closely. So there's your awakening genius, and it's telling you to keep the faith. And I think it's telling you to keep the faith because I know you've been on this journey for a very long time. It's your awakening. The awakening is happening to what your purpose is. And so keep the faith. Absolutely. Wow. And that, that card also that you had also reminds me of just before birth, right? Because it was inside the womb, basically, in your card.
Ready to go.
Ready
Absolutely,
to go.
that moment. And I mean, that's another thing to think about with the sun is it's a moment of peace. That moment when you go inside the womb and, before everything happens.
Before real life happens.
Yes.
Yeah, you're being taken care of and and then there was a picture actually I saw, I don't remember, somebody posted it. It was on TikTok or something, I think, and it was a baby that had only been out of the womb for 8 minutes or something. And this baby was like, and it was almost as though it was saying, "Oh yeah, I've been here before." It was just adorable. It really is. It's really
it's lovely.
Yeah. Oh, take care of yourself, Juno. I'm glad you liked the reading.
Yes, pleasure.
So this is CB, otherwise known as Connie Brown. And Connie Brown is also a teacher.
Another teacher.
She's one of us, yes. Yeah.
What does Connie teach? Do you know?
Yes, I think it's middle school language arts.
Okay.
I think so.
Okay, we're going white fly again.
Mm-hmm. This one.
Okay, I've got this card. It's the 10 of Cups, but I'm chuckling because when it comes to tarot cards, you don't tend to get that many. I don't have that many unicorns, so it does feel very much like an oracle card. This one, but look at the beautiful colours on there. So you've got the 10 of Cups, Connie, and that means that the week is going to be fulfilling. It's going to go smoothly. The trials that you may have been through, whether that's to do with emotions or whether to do with relationships with people, they're all going to be sorted. And it's almost a happy ever after kind of story. If you know tarot, the RWS, it's got a lovely rainbow, as indeed this one does. So it's a bit like the promise of good things to come, and that everything's going to be calm, lovely, and take a well-deserved sort of break to enjoy it as well before
there you go.
Next episode happens.
Are you going on school break pretty soon? I hope you, when you do, you have a great time.
Yeah. Well deserved.
Well deserved. So I pulled 2 cards. One card from my normal Oracle deck, the Oracle of 7 Energies, and I have one called the Soul Whispered Oracle. Ooh. When My Soul Whispered Oracle deck. That one was Desire.
Nice.
Desire. It's very beautiful. So there is some kind of desire, and it says the royal you. And when I get this card, I think to myself, remember that you are important and treat yourself like royalty. No one else was probably going to do it, so you need to do it. And this is saying, everything's opening up for you. Yeah. Treat yourself well, love yourself, because you are royal. Yeah.
We forget to treat ourselves like that, don't we?
We do. We stretch ourselves, and we take care of everybody else. Even if you don't have your own children or your parents around, you take care of your students, and you take care of your friends, and so on.
Everything, and then it's often we're the ones that
suffer. But I have to tell you, this community has taken care of me very well. Yes. They have responded to a need, and they are. I'm blown away by it. So
me too. I mean, I've had some difficult times with anxieties and forms of depression, and I'm happy to say that I feel like I've got over all of that now. And people in the community generally were really there and supportive and kind, and held space and helped. And it was lovely.
It really makes a difference. Yeah,
it really does. It really does.
Yeah. You've got the Fool on your shirt, don't you?
I do. It's my only tarot t-shirt. I've always felt when I started a tarot tube that I needed to have a kind of
I love it.
uniform.
Yeah. Okay.
And I got this, and
well, I take that to mean you're always open to new things. That's what I take.
About to fall over a cliff.
Now make sure you look down.
I always do. I'm
okay.
looking at my feet, never looking around. But yeah,
but
no, I do love this. I love the energy of this, and what
I do, and I love the blue with the blue. You look good with blue. Some people, I love blue myself, so
it's my favorite color, and I'm always wearing blue. And I've got
mine too.
My Labradorite jewelry as well, because
yes, isn't it wonderful? I have earrings like that, so yeah, just makes you feel good. Okay, I don't know what this man is wanting this for, because
he's so demanding, isn't he? So demanding.
We can do it, Gerald. All right, we can do it for you.
Cardage of the upcoming week. Well, I'm going to pick this deck because I know, Gerald, that you don't have the Sheridan Douglas
yet. Okay.
Yeah, he will be getting it soon. Because I'm going up to London next week, and I'm going to get him a copy of it. I hope the shop's got it, but and send it to him because I know he likes it so much. So we're going to have a card for that one.
Going up to London. Oh, how I wish I could do that. That's wonderful. Someday, hopefully. Yep.
Hopefully, that'd be lovely, wouldn't it? I mean,
it would be. Then I get to meet all my friends. I found on Ancestry.com a cousin from my mother's side, distant, but we found each other and we communicate with each other. And she lives in England. And so
really?
I got people I can go visit, It's great.
Well, I'm sure a lot of people on here, you could go and, you wouldn't need to have a hotel. You could just stay with the different friends.
Right. Well, B&B in everybody's houses.
Go around staying in people's sofas. I'm planning to do that with all my friends in America.
Yeah, of course. Yes.
You're
welcome to come to the Pacific Northwest and stay with me. Much. Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
I've actually, I've said that many times. I had belonged to this community called Zods, and it used to be it was before Facebook, and it was all spiritual people. Unfortunately, it went defunct in 2009. It didn't last. But I met, 100 people there, and I've met in person probably half of that. We've met up in B&Bs before. We've met for coffee whenever they come to town, and they're just the same. It's just beautiful stuff. Yeah, it really is.
So. I think with Tarot Tube, and we have to be natural, and we obviously gravitate to the same kind of people. So, I've never met Gerald in real life.
Right.
Before, but it's so nice that I know we know so much about one another and other people on here, obviously, and it's just that if you did meet up, they'd be just the same.
Yep, just lovely. Yep, you're absolutely right.
Right, I've actually 2 cards popped out, Gerald, for you.
All right.
So you have the 8 of Wands, which is deliciously green. I love the greenness of this one, and you've also got the 8 of Cups, so it's a bit of an 8 week for you. Okay.
Ooh, okay.
So I'm wondering what it is, the energies that are trying to catch up with you, and perhaps that you want to not necessarily ignore or move away from, but perhaps think about as this week starts to soup up and gets busier and busier and busier. Perhaps you need to think, what do I need to perhaps take a break from, or what needs parking, or do I need to reorganize my schedule and prioritize other things in there? Because it feels like there's a lot of energy coming your way, and you need to just think about how to handle it, really.
Awesome. Yeah. Isn't 8 a money card as well? I mean, a money number? I think it is.
I think so, yes.
I think it means money. Yeah. All right, Gerald. By the way, Gerald said, you just said that Gerald didn't have a deck.
He hasn't got this deck. I know, Gerald. He's got more decks than I have. Yeah, he hasn't got this deck.
That's right. So, Gerald, I get a burst of magic for you. Look at that. Look at the burst. It's like It's like fireworks over the lotus. Oh my God, something good is coming in. It may be that you have to get your things in order according to what Ritchie said, but then the magic comes. So I don't see of it as a bad thing at all. And this may also be for your soulmate. So I know that you are engaged and you have a soulmate. So maybe it has something to do with the both of you. I don't know.
Yeah.
There you go.
He says that makes perfect sense. That's good to get them.
Oh, good. Yeah. It always helps, doesn't it?
It always helps, doesn't it?
Yeah. Andrea just wonders if you're able to bring your gifts or the magic of the ancients while working with your students. I think it's hard for a math teacher.
It's really hard. Well, the other thing is I don't really talk about it at work with my tarot and my beliefs. Not because I'm embarrassed about it, but firstly, the staff, you tend to find, because teachers are generally quite sort of set in their ways with their academia, anything that may come across out the norm tends to rock their worlds a little bit, and they just will poo-poo it. And I don't want to be seen as, the slightly weird maths teacher.
I understand.
And I don't talk to it about the kids, because kids would obviously be like, oh, what's the future? What's my GCSEs going to be? All my exam results.
Right.
So I never hide it, but at the same time, no, I don't put it out there. But it's interesting. I'm very into my crystals, and I've recently started to hide. I'm going to say hide, not how out, but hide some crystals that help with learning. So things around that.
Yeah, they're just decorations.
You balance the negativity that unfortunately schools tend to have quite a negative energy flowing through.
Yes, they do. You're right. Too regimented.
Balance it up a bit.
When I have worked with my students, when I'm teaching humanities, I'm very lucky because I can bring in things sort of surreptitiously, you know what I mean? It's not that I'm trying to convince anybody of anything, but like I remember asking everybody one day, we were talking about something, and I said, has anybody here ever seen a UFO? And they're like, oh, we heard, they were pretty open to it, but we're talking about a total different type of learning. You're not learning numbers in that case. You're learning ideas. So,
and it's interesting because numerology is the one thing I never studied. Numerology. It's
okay. You need to.
I need to, but then it's almost like, well, the other thing is I always forget. I always trip up when I'm teaching probability, because there's often questions about a deck of cards. There's 52 cards in there, and I often go, well, that's 78, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Wait, what cards do you have?
Cards.
That's funny. That's funny. All right, Vivian wonders if you can have a. Yeah.
We're going back to the white fly. This one.
The white fly.
Unusual. I like the deck's called white fly because white fly is apparently quite rare. And so that's.
You mean there are really white flies?
Yeah, they're actually on the back. Can you see? If I hold it up now, can you see there's like a white fly in the design?
Wow.
So apparently whether they're like albino, I'm not.
Oh yeah. I was just going to say that.
You get them, but the artist I think has seen 2 in their life, and so they decided to say this deck's rare, so it's going to be like a white fly.
Oh, okay, I get it. Okay.
So,
very cool.
For Vivian.
Huh.
Oh, we have one jumping out.
Oh.
So we have to pay attention to that one.
Okay.
So I have the 2 of Pentacles for you, which is normally a card within a balance, and again, balance and redressing it, and often sorting finances out. It's often traditionally as a sort of perhaps borrowing or moving money about from one account into another, like that one. But this card is a bit different. If you can see, it's about a bit of it's like a walkways between trees. It's a bit like you're having to go up a staircase to almost like collect things, and so there's a sense of almost a bit of a journey of resources, a bit like how can I describe it? A bit like Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit, the idea of going on a venture to get treasure. There's almost a sense here of you having a bit of an adventure, or perhaps a bit of not a challenge, I'm going to say, but just a bit more of a journey to get the resources and perhaps to have some fun. Or perhaps it's a lucky win. It could be that one or something happening. But it feels like it's almost like a story you're going to be told about this when it happens. Whether it's a funny story or whatever. But I feel like there's finances and as I say, perhaps a lucky win.
Ooh, well, good luck with that, Vivian. Now, I got something that actually, the minute that you started talking in this in-between place, I get the land between.
Oh.
And this is my card for communication from the other side. And actually pulled a card from Spirit Messages. And it says here, hope. Your loved ones in spirit know when to reach out if they see you're at a low point. Whether you're caught up in a difficult situation or struggling with someone specific, there is always hope. And so, yes, pulling this card and your card with the in-between, just
and
really blows me away. Yeah.
Your card, they've both got this kind of wooden bridge.
Right.
Would you call it a bridge between? That's interesting, isn't it?
Isn't it? I love that. I love it when this happens all the time when I'm collaborating, and it makes me feel like, one message just goes right along with it. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh, I'd be really interested to know how that turns out for you, Vivian.
I know, me too.
Do let us know.
Vivian. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for asking the question. That was amazing. Yeah. All right. Let's see. We got another one here. Marlene.
Right. Hello, Marlene. I might change the deck for Marlene. I'm going to go Cosmic Dream. I'm going to go for this one here. Let's see what this one is. A bit more intuitive. So we'll go with this one. I'm just going to give it a bit of a shuffle. It's getting darker here now. The evening's beginning to come in. So
yeah. Is it still really cold? Is it really cold?
It's not. I mean, we're lucky down here. It's never freezing. It never.
Oh, that's good.
Gone below. It's kind of grey and damp quite a lot, as much of the British weather normally is. But it is slowly. We've got the buds coming out and the daffodils and bulbs are all coming out. So Easter and Ostara and spring are certainly on their way now. So yeah.
Yep. And not too far from me, about 14 miles from me, they have a tulip festival, and it's like the biggest it's called Rosengarten, and it's one of the biggest tulip festivals outside of the Netherlands. And it's the colors of these tulips are unbelievable. So I'm looking forward to that coming in April. Yeah.
Okay, I've got two cards again, so they both wanted to come out at the same time. This is going to be interesting, Molly. So you've got the Five of Pentacles and the High Priestess. That's a very interesting combination that you've got there. It would suggest to me to do some thinking. Five of Pentacles is often to do with having hardships or perhaps situations happening, not necessarily around you, but perhaps in, overthinking situations or worries about finances, resources, and things going on. So the High Priestess is saying that the answer to what you're doing is all there. But unfortunately, you have to go through this journey to get there. The answers aren't just going to pop up and be there. Again, you have to kind of go with it. Follow your intuition. I mean, that is the other main meaning for the High Priestess. Use your head. Use what your gut reaction is to it, and you'll get through this process. And it will be hopefully short-lived. But yeah, go with your intuition. Go with your head when you're dealing with these perhaps difficult thoughts or difficult situations to do with resources.
Wow. All right. Well, I'm getting close encounters, and look, it's a caged butterfly. And look how close they are. They don't know that they are that close because one's outside, one's inside. But then I pulled for clarity and I got, you're at a crossroads.
Really?
And that's pretty much what you were saying, Ritchie. So yeah. You know, the good thing about a butterfly, we don't cage butterflies. No. We allow them to fly free. So I'm guessing the door is open and the crossroads are coming. So good luck.
And I read something very interesting about butterflies, is that basically a caterpillar to turn into a butterfly, a beautiful thing to go under, has to basically rebuild itself, destroy itself and rebuild itself. So the idea of being in a cocoon has to be the worst time in a caterpillar's life, because basically it's turning to mush to recreate itself. And I love that idea of perhaps when you do have difficulties, just remember that these are the catalysts, the changes that are going place to turn into that beautiful picture at the end.
And it reminds us all of we're all kind of going through a tower moment anyway, throughout the world. You know, if things are being torn down, then we'll have to build them back up again. And that's not a pretty process.
No.
But yeah, when you're in the middle of it, like in the cocoon, you don't know that the beauty is going to be coming out. You're just stuck in there.
Yeah, just stuck in there, kind of. But I hope anything that does resonate like that.
Yes, Marlene.
You're with us.
Good luck.
We're thinking of it.
Yep. Thank you. All right. So Tony would like to know if we could draw a card for the coming week.
Of course.
Oh, nice.
To Sheridan. I love using these cards because some of them I haven't picked up for a little while, so it's just nice to go back.
Everybody likes your zebra rug over there on the floor.
Really good thing you couldn't see closer. I've got 2 cats, hence all the cat toys down here. In fact, I'm surprised they haven't made any yet. But their greatest joy is to claw that mat, and it's very old, and so as long as they claw that and not the rest of the furniture,
That's happy. That's right. Yeah. Wow. Yes, Ritchie is a skilled reader.
Well, thank you very much. I haven't done readings online for very long, and I was very worried at the time about it. And actually, Gerald has helped me, and Ben, we often do. And we've got actually Gerald and I and Sandra from the Whispering Oak next week. We're doing live readings on we combine and we called Long Stash.
Long Stash. Love it. Okay.
Kind of sounds like it should be from a Western. We always
I know. Or a Fu Manchu, right? A Fu Manchu.
Exactly. But I've got used to it, and I really enjoy it now, because I normally, when I'm reading for people, take my time. And so because of the nature of this, it tends to be quite quick, but I've hopefully got better at it.
You do. And you know, it's funny that you say that is when I was having Susan Lynn, who is a medium, come on my Sunday morning shows, she didn't know if she could be a medium, because she's being asked to tune into somebody that's, very fast. And it took, she just grew and grew and grew. It was unbelievable. She could bring in people so fast, but she didn't think she could at first. So it's just practice too.
Okay, Tony, I don't know about whether you like using your hands for art or writing or creative stuff, because actually I pulled one card, and which was the lovely 10 of Cups, and look at how beautiful this card is. This couple here dancing, so I'm trying to get it so you can see it a bit clearer. So they're dancing in the sunshine. They are, whether it's a partner, whether it's a friend, whether it is having a lovely time, having gone through that whole, the 10 of Cups again, the whole, the idea of like we had with the unicorn earlier on, and the idea of the rainbow here. But I also got the 4 of Wands, which for me here is often a card to do with family and ritual and perhaps celebrations. But I'm also wondering whether, because of the card, it's something to do with creating something, or drawing, or writing, or we've got a flute there as well. So perhaps think about using your wonderful talents that you've got, and go out and celebrate them, and be with people and enjoy them and express yourself that way.
Well, you nailed it. She just finished writing her autobiography.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Well, go and celebrate then. Go and dance in the sunshine.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And take a higher view, Tony, this week. Take a higher view. Look down on all of the accomplishments and achievements so far. And like, I think this is a celebratory thing. When you're on the back of an owl flying through the sky, that's pretty high. And you're right. You're with the wise one, the wise owl. So, yeah. And her writing is, yes, it includes her family, she says here in the chat. So, oh, you're starting to write. I'm sorry. I thought you finished it. Okay.
Oh, perfect.
Well, doesn't matter. Obviously, this has shown up so many times, and I don't tell the reader that I know that about you until they come up with it. I just learned that the other night. So
wow.
Yeah.
Well, good luck with the writing, and I hope it's an enjoyable process.
Absolutely. All right, we have Sandra.
Hello, Sandra.
This is wonderful.
I'm going to go back to Cosmic Dreams for Sandra.
Okay. So I'm going on at 10:30 this morning on Lorica Bretherton's website. We're going to be discussing a book, doing a book discussion, and then at noon, my time, I'm going to be talking to Scott Scorpio Moon.
Oh, yes.
So come back, everybody, if you can. Yeah, he's great.
He is.
And do you have anything else today?
No, well, I'm going to go to the cinema and watch a film because I haven't been for.
Are you going to go see Belfast? Is that what
no,
you're
I haven't been.
Okay.
I'm going to go and see Uncharted. I think it is.
Oh, okay.
It looks like one of those kind of mystery type films. Like, I just want something to go and watch for 2 hours.
I understand completely. We went out to a restaurant the other night, and it was like, wow, we haven't been in a restaurant. I used to sit outside at a restaurant, but I wouldn't go inside. So yeah, I understand. It's almost like it's a new whole total experience, like your first time you ever went to a restaurant.
Yeah, I know. I went to a restaurant for the first time in 2 years last week, and I was like, "This is amazing! Absolutely.
It is amazing. You really appreciate it too. I think
So no, so I don't have any more tarot today or anything. So it's about relaxing today, and I've been doing housework and chores and stuff today.
It's one of those days.
One of those days, but then I can enjoy tomorrow.
That's right.
Right. So this is for Sandra. Sandra, you have got a wonderful card. You have the Ace of Swords. Let's see if I can get that. It's so bright, this card. It glows. Look at it. And it's about having power, and it's about having clarity, and it's about you physically, but cutting away all the nonsense of next week and just go for it, get a straight line through it all, just seeing the situations for what it is, perhaps seeing people for what they are, and just going, this is my direction, this is where I'm going, thank you very much, and just enjoy yourself with this wonderful kind of, I'm not going to use the word power, but this ability to just cut through things and just go with your purpose and not get distracted.
Okay. I got a merry motive. When I get this, I tend to think that people should be out and about, spending some time, maybe out in the woods or, with Mother Earth. But and this says, if you're dazed and confused, that's where you need to go. I'm not saying you are dazed and confused, but anytime you need to ground yourself and go back to Mother Earth and be merry, make merry.
Yep. It's about going outside, isn't it? I went for lovely this morning, and it was just,
I know,
just beautiful.
The ability to stay in the present moment and to enjoy everything for what it is at that time has come to some of us because of the pandemic, I believe. And if you haven't had that, try to slow things down. But I mean, we're starting to open back up again, but we're also seeing those things we haven't seen in so long and offer a new appreciation of them. Yeah.
And I also think you're absolutely right. I also think it's really important to go, what what has the pandemic taught me, as in,
Right.
what did I lose that I don't need to pick up again? And for me, it's going hell for leather, trying to get everything done. And as you say, being in the moment is so important than, oh, I've got to get this done and plan for this. And I can't enjoy myself now because I've got this, and so I've really sort of almost wiped the slate clean and then starting again. I'm going to pick up this.
Yeah, I feel the same way. And there are things I don't want to do now that I used to do before that I felt I had to do. Yes. I don't need to do that. I can say no, and I don't even have to give a reason.
Do you know what? That's the best lesson, I think, is the power of the word no when it's used correctly is just.
Yes. It's hard, though, because we teach people how to treat ourselves. And, if you've been doing this way for so long, the first thing that people do is sort of put their hands up and saying, what's wrong with you? They don't like it very much. But those boundaries are so important. And, it's never too late to start setting boundaries, I don't think. You just have to make sure that you
review them as well. Review them and go.
Review them. Yeah. All right. We got 2 more questions and then we'll wrap it up here. We got Larika. Okay. This is the wonderful lady I'm working with.
He's just suddenly decided he wanted to join in the fun.
Oh, sure. Of course. Bring your cat on.
He's here. You can just, his tail is just out of view. There it is there. So.
The cats love coming on. They do. Are
you going to? Oh. No. Don't walk on the key. Oh, hang on.
Cat's saying an hour is up, Dad. I'm ready for you to pay attention.
There he is.
Beautiful. Hello, baby.
Basil.
What a pretty baby. Green eyes?
Green eyes.
Oh, what's his name?
Basil.
Oh, very British.
Very good. Basil is Basil. Yeah.
I love it.
You go over there. That's right. You go on there. There we go. You can sit there and watch from there. Otherwise, he will just mess up all the cards. But he loves it. He's a very sociable cat. Okay. Have a card for the week. Of course, we can do this one.
So Larika lives in Sweden.
Hello.
And she and I are going to do a show in about a half an hour or so. She's fabulous. She was my Reiki teacher.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. It's never good when people go like that. I should stop doing that because look at the card.
She's a card reader, so she's okay.
Got the hanged person for you.
Ooh, okay. Is there something you're trying to decide about?
Well, perhaps it's time to just try and see things from a different point of view. We've just been talking about sort of finding time for yourself and finding boundaries. And this card is that. It's about, okay, where am I now? Stop the world. What do I want to do? And do I want to just turn the world on its head and see it from a different point of view?
There you go.
So the hangman for me is not about sacrifice and giving stuff up. It's only that you're giving up time for yourself to review, to look at a different angle, to see the world in a slightly different place. It's a lovely card to have, and it's something that we should all be doing on a regular basis and reviewing it. So hopefully this week you will find time. And again, it's the idea of yoga and all sorts of those wonderful meditations as well that I'm sure you do in there as well. So enjoy that time.
That's awesome. Larika and her husband are hopefully trying to take holiday. And, she loves to travel. So I think she has a little bit of time to do that reflection.
Well, enjoy it.
I got this card again. This is the card of the day, I guess. Awakening Genius, dear. And this one says, eternal love. Love yourself. Love who you are and how you are and where you are. So that's beautiful. Thank you so much. All right, we got one more, and then we're going to head out. All right. For Linda Kelser. Hi, Linda. Yeah.
I like Linda's sunflower emoji.
I know, it's cute, isn't it? And for the Ukraine. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Thanks, Vivian. Thank you to all my moderators. I appreciate you.
Oh, okay. You have the Six of Pentacles.
Mm-hmm.
I love how there's so many hands with this goddess. Can you see how she's kind of growing out of the earth, like a tree, but also getting the energy from the thunder clouds above. So it's almost like this energy, it's wonderful energy. It just passes a bit like a lightning conductor, a bit like the magician card. If you've Linda there. The Six of Pentacles is traditionally to do with lending money out and perhaps being charitable, which is really nice. And of course, particularly as we were talking, Ali, before we came on, the idea of what's happening in the Ukraine and giving up time and stuff like that. This is a perfect card for it. But it's also about sharing out stuff that you may have, gifts that you have. As in physical gifts and what you have in yourself. So it may be not necessarily donating money or actual items. It's about making time for people and finding space for people and just going, like sometimes if you meet somebody at work or someone, you go, "You're all right," and you go, "Yeah, I'm all right," and we never actually go, "Do you know what? No, let's just stop and have a conversation. Let's just check in with one another rather than just do."
Really? Yeah.
So I just think I'm getting that vibe. I'm getting, just if you can, just take a little bit more time to just talk to people and be your wonderful self and pass that through and use that like the energy force to give people a bit of a kind of kickstart or a little bit of a spark there to perhaps have a better day.
Wonderful. What deck is that? Asphasia wants to know.
This one here's the white fly, so it's the white.
Oh, that's the white fly one again. Yeah. Isn't that cool? Yeah. He likes the eclectic decks, and I think that's so neat. Yeah. Okay, I get the Rose's Kiss, Linda, and I just, there's two little ladybugs up there. When I get this card, I say, there's room for you to love yourself as well as another. Take from the nectar of the rose and realize that you have to take time out for yourself as well. And slow and steady.
Always wins the race.
Always wins the race. We get impatient. I do, but yeah. It just depends on what it is. I've tried to temper that, but it's really bad when you're in the first grade and your parents go to the first night with the teacher and the first thing they say is, "Your daughter's so impatient." And I thought, oh my, and they'd hear it every time. And so, yep.
I'm the opposite. I'm very much, "Why don't you get this? Why don't you get this?" It's like, it's 2 + 2. Why don't you get it?
Why don't you get? It's funny that you say that because my 4th grade teacher told me I had a mental block in math. Yeah. They had changed from long division to short division. And that stayed with me. I owned that. Yeah. And I was not good in math. But yes, it is like 2 and 2 is 4. Why can't you figure that out? Because I just was told I couldn't do it, that I had some problem with that. And don't ever do that to your kids, ever, or anyone for that matter.
I always tell them that we don't understand it yet.
Yeah, that's right. Wonderful. Well, thank you, everybody. Thank you, Ritchie. Thank you for the people in the chat, my moderators and everybody. And hopefully Ritchie and I will be doing this again because this was a lot of fun. So thank you. We'll see you guys later. Bye. Bye-bye.